Speaking of Toronto, as we were earlier, McLeod Bethel-Thompson, which will heretofore be nicknamed Macbeth on this show. McLeod Bethel-Thompson has signed a new contract with the Toronto Argonauts. So we'll get into that. If you have any details on years on that, Clark, if you find any, can you please pass them along? 1 year, Clark says he believes it's 1 year for Macbeth and the Argos. This sports update for SeatGiant.ca. Stop paying U.S. dollars for sporting events and concerts. We have all major sporting events and concert tickets in Canadian dollars. Enter promo code RPShow and get discounts for RP Show fans. Visit SeatGiant.ca. And for Wendell Clark's Classic Bar and Grill in Saskatoon, which I love, as I mentioned, that they are now tagging us in their posts.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, whoever's responsible. I assume Doyle, maybe Byron, maybe Gary, maybe it's none of them. But thank you. As a matter of fact, here it is. Tacos. Who doesn't like tacos for lunch? We do. $13.95 till 3 p.m. $6.25 craft beers all day at the Rod Pedersen Show on the TVs. It's great, everyone. See you at Wendell's, corner of Idlewild and Circle Drive. I'll be seeing you Thursday, Friday, Saturday that I'll be up there in Saskatoon. So looking forward to that. Okay, real quickly. You, Darren, were reading off Twitter. Some guy was going. Who was it that was going off about the?
It wasn't a media member.
Super Bowl halftime act.
His name was Charlie Kirk. I think
Never heard
he's
of
a
him.
politician.
Make him work.
But Charlie Kirk, that's quick.
Yeah.
He's from Phoenix. Anyways, he's got 1.5 million followers, and the tweet's got 66,000 likes.
And he's saying,
he says, the NFL claims they are taking a stand against sex trafficking, yet they have a halftime show degrading and objectifying women with pole dancing, a horrendous example to the millions of young women across the world. That's the tweet.
Okay. Well, I just got to say, come on. We cannot continue to bend that far to the right. I'm sorry. Whatever you want to say. The religious right. I love John Chick. We mentioned this in the warm-up, the rollout for Flooring Superstores. John went on a 7-minute diatribe, a rampage on Facebook at how offended he was at the Super Bowl halftime act. And I love John. Change the channel if you don't like it. It's 2020. That's my opinion. John has his. Taylor, where are you on this? I can't imagine you were offended by the halftime, but maybe you were.
I don't know. I didn't really have an opinion on it because it's, it was entertainment. And if that's what the NFL thought the entertainment was, and if they thought sex sells, let's get more eyes on this. And more
which it does.
Then there you go. That's
the almighty dollar, blah, blah, blah.
Yep. For sure. And Nelson mentions Adam Levine in the Facebook
shirtless
wall, and that's been brought up. We've seen that on social media. It's different, right? It's different, and I know. Well, if women can't take their shirts off, why should men be able to take their shirts off? But it is different. It is. They're judged. We're judged differently. One's acceptable, the other's not. But yeah, it was racy for sure. But the lines are always changing. Did it cross any lines? I don't know. I don't think it did, but everybody's got a different line. And if it crossed your line, then tune it out, right? Turn it off. But it clearly didn't cross FCC lines or whatever the television guidelines, regulatory guideline commission is, to be on the air. So it didn't cross their lines. So if it crossed yours, change the channel. And if you enjoy it, enjoy it.
It was up to the, I imagine some of it was up to the entertainers themselves, right? J-Lo and Shakira. And they were, good on them for looking that good at 40 plus and being, they should be celebrated, right? Too.
That's what Janelle's writing on
if they want to promote themselves that way, then that's fine.
On Facebook, Janelle from Saskatoon says, yeah, how horrible that the NFL showed two mums over 40 with wicked bodies doing what they love, making statements, empowering. It's an opinion matter. It's what side you're on. I love John. I'm on the God Squad too, but I'm not going to be offended. And I know Nelson writes in, he says, mums everywhere were hot and bothered last year when Adam Levine took his shirt off. We're acting like this is brand new. This is a revelation that sex sells.
Yeah.
It's only been going on for about 30 years, if not more, since I've been paying attention. Maybe it's been going on longer than that.
But they mixed in, we know sex sells, and now, over the last, 10 years, nostalgia sells, right? All the things from our childhoods and our youth and from the past that comes back, we really have an affection for it, and that's a big marketing play now. And for me, I don't know if there was a bigger Shakira fan, growing up than I was. So
of her body or her music?
I know all the words to the songs for some reason. But yeah, exactly. The hips don't lie. No, but it made me want to tune in. A little bit of that nostalgia, a little bit of everything.
So Janet Jackson, a few years ago, however long ago that was way worse and bigger than
the nipple slip.
Yeah.
It was not
a slip.
There was no nudity on Sunday.
No.
Well, the Janet Jackson's was famed at nipple slip. You're saying it wasn't a slip?
Well, it wasn't a slip per se, but
he uncovered her.
That's not a slip.
Yeah, did he do that on purpose? Or was it an accident?
I thought it was an accident.
Oh.
I thought it was an accident.
That's the debate.
Oh, I thought it was on purpose.
Right.
Oh.
And I missed it. I was going to the bathroom.
I'm way out of the loop then.
It was like 2004, I think.
So I'm saying
it was an accident.
I couldn't imagine that now, right? If it was an accident still.
Regarding the question, if you could only have one channel for the rest of your life, what would it be? Leonard writes in on the Prairie Mobile text line, and he says, mine would be the Playboy channel, LOL. Do they still have that?
I guess.
Do they have internet where you're from, Leonard?
Do they have internet? Yeah.
On the Argo signing Macbeth to a 1-year deal.
I read it for the articles, okay?
for the letters.
Exactly.
Anyways, on Macbeth signing a 1-year deal with the Argos, wanting the guarantee, if you will, that if he's not the number one quarterback, he'll at least have the chance to compete for the number one quarterback job. And that's not petulance on behalf of McLeod. I know him. I met him with Ricky Ray and James Franklin in the restaurant that I used to own. They came in. I don't think it's petulance. I mentioned earlier I was on the air in Lloydminster this morning, and the boys brought up Henry Burris wanted the same assurance way back 15 years ago with the Stampeders. This isn't new.
No.
But it does kind of squeeze Matt Nichols out. And we were saying in the break, well, what does this say to Matt Nichols? The way things have shaken down. It means don't get hurt. That's what it means.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're the Argos, you can tell McLeod, Bethel-Thompson, hey, you can compete for this job. But if Nichols comes available at the right price, you can bring him in and say, well, we'll still give you a chance to compete, knowing that Nichols will probably be the starter. If he beats him out at training camp, whoever is best at training camp.
Open competition. It has to be.
As long as they're competing.
So I don't think it closes the door on Nichols. But he won't enter the job as the starter.
Right. And if you're getting signed and you're not the starting quarterback, what kind of money are you getting? Right?
Yeah.
If you're getting signed to only compete for that job and to potentially be a backup, it doesn't come with a bunch of guaranteed money and a really high-end deal. A
bunch of incentives, though.
So if you're Matt Nichols, you got to start looking at the whole picture and understand that there's a certain percentage, it's pretty high, of teams that don't play one quarterback for 18 games, right? It doesn't happen very often that you have one guy start 18 games. So you start looking around, okay, what's the best situation for me to maybe fight in camp for an opportunity, or at the very least, just buy my time, learn the system, and when I get my opportunity, succeed. So you look at Toronto. Montreal might be another spot. If Vernon Adams Jr. potentially something happens and he falters, a spot where you can be waiting in the wings. Hamilton's already locked up with 3 quarterbacks already. They're going back to all 3 quarterbacks maybe David Watford's not a starting caliber quarterback yet, but you got 2 starting quarterbacks in Dane Evans and Jeremiah Masoli. You're not going to Calgary or Edmonton or BC or Saskatchewan for that matter, and you're not going back to Winnipeg. So to me, that leaves Montreal or Toronto as the only 2 real viable options for Matt Nichols. And in Toronto, he could battle for a starting job, and in Montreal, he's probably the backup.
The message to Matt Nichols is he's going to be taking backup money. Don't get hurt, and unfortunately at this time, you don't have leverage. When we come back, we'll be talking Sask Rush. Ben McIntosh is loaded up in the chute, and he's ready. It's our weekly Rush feature for Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions. It's the Rush and the Mammoth. It's Redemption Night Saturday. How's that at SaskTel Center? We'll talk with Ben about that when we come back. It's the Rod Pedersen Show on Facebook Live, and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of the Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.